Hey, Jesus followers, welcome to Daily Bread. We're on Matthew 28. This is the last chapter of the book, and if you have gone all the way through it with us, congratulations. This is a great feat for you to read all the way through, especially if this is you getting into the Bible for the first time. Matthew 28 is the final chapter, and this is really where some amazing things happen, and Jesus really commissions us, but it starts out with his resurrection, and so we're going to start with verse 1 here. Early on Sunday morning, as the new day was dawning, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to visit the tomb. Suddenly there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord came down from heaven, rolled aside the tomb, and sat on it. His face shone like lightning, and his clothes was as white as snow. The guards shook with fear when they saw him, and they fell into a dead faint. Then the angel spoke to the woman. "Don't be afraid. I know you're looking for Jesus who was crucified. He isn't here. He's risen from the dead, just as he said would happen. Come and see where his body was lying. And now go quickly and tell his disciples that he has risen from the dead, and he is going ahead of you to Galilee. You will see him there. Remember what I've told you." The women ran quickly from the tomb. They were very frightened, but also filled with great joy, and they rushed to give the disciples the angel's message. And as they went, Jesus met them and greeted them, and they ran to him. They grasped at his feet and they worshiped him. And Jesus said, "Don't be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to leave for Galilee, and they will see me there." As the women were on their way, some of the guards went into the city and told the leading priests what had happened. A meeting with the elders was called, and they decided to give the soldiers a large bribe. They told the soldiers, "You must say, 'Jesus' disciples came during the night while we were sleeping, and they stole his body.' If the governor hears about it, we'll stand up for you so you won't get in trouble." So the guards accepted the bribe and said what they were told to say. Their story spread widely among the Jews, and they still tell it to this day. I really want to talk about his resurrection here and what it means for us as believers, because Jesus died, but you would think that almost the devil won, that the devil influenced all these people to kill Jesus. But the reason we have victory over sin and over death, the reason that we believe that we will spend eternity with heaven, that when our physical body dies, we will be resurrected, just like Jesus, is because Jesus led the way. We're Jesus followers, and so we not only follow him in this life, but we follow him into the next life as well. We will spend eternity with Jesus in heaven as we've given our lives to him. And let's finish here with what's called the Great Commission. This is such an important few verses for us to understand here, starting in verse 16. Then the 11 disciples left for Galilee, going to the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. When they saw him, so Jesus meets them on this mountain. When they saw him, they worshiped him. But some of them doubted. Isn't that amazing that some of the remaining people still doubted Jesus in that moment? That just goes to show that if someone says, "Well, if I see God in person, I'll really believe." No, you've got to have a heart. You've got to have a heart that's open to God and not hardened to say yes to him. Verse 18, Jesus came and told his disciples, "I have been given all authority in heaven and on earth. Therefore, go and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Teach these new disciples to obey all the commands I have given you. And be sure of this." I love this last statement. "Be sure of this. I am with you. I'm with you always, even to the end of the age." He says, "I've been given all the authority. Now go use that authority and make disciples of all the nations." This is your Great Commission. This is the commission of every believer. This is not just for pastors or people who work at a church. This is for every believer to go and make disciples of all the nations. And you have a different sphere of influence than I do. And I commission you to go and make disciples. By the way, not just people who say yes, but disciples. The word disciple means a follower of Jesus. That they actually follow Jesus, not just with their words, but with their actions. And then it says, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And this is one of the things Jesus asks us to do, is to be baptized after we have said yes to Jesus, and that the Holy Spirit would come upon us and in us. And then verse 20, teach them to obey. I want to show you that one of the key signs of a follower of Jesus is obedience. Obey the commands that I have given to you. And then he assures us with this last thing, so beautiful. And be sure I am with you always, even to the end of the age. He is with us, and he is with you. Through the Spirit of God, Jesus is with you. And I want to encourage you that as you're following Jesus, you keep moving forward. Number one, in the love of Jesus, knowing that he loves you so much. Number two, knowing that you have power over sin and over death, over things that try to come against us. He says, use and learn about that authority. And lastly, let's obey Jesus as we continue to follow him. Let's be people who bring other people with us to heaven. And we live for that day when Jesus looks us in the eyes when we enter into his gates. And he says, well done, good and faithful servant. Well done, good and faithful servant. We love you guys so much. You have completed the book of Matthew. We are so proud of you. That's it for the Daily Bread for today. Stay tuned for more content. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We love you guys so much. Let's keep following Jesus together.